This is a video for your mindset assignment. So, like the warning says at the top of the screen, this is not a replacement for reading the assigned text. If you don't read the assigned text, you are not going to be able to be successful with this assignment. The purpose of this short video is just to concentrate and to focus your thinking while you're working on this assignment. So, the best way to do it is watch this video. You can watch it before you read the assigned text and then watch it again as you're working on your paper. Or you can just wait till after you read the assigned text and then watch this video whenever you want. But just keep in mind, you've got to read the assigned text in order to be successful at this assignment. So you've read the mindset book by Dweck, and you've read lots and lots of examples about the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And this is just a recap of all of that. So we're going to talk about these beliefs over there on the right-hand side in the blue section there. So a person's beliefs about where do skills, if I'm really good at doing some particular thing, say I'm really good at tennis. I'm not good at tennis, but let's just say I am. So if I'm really good at tennis and I have a fixed mindset, then my beliefs about where my tennis skills came from, where they exist in me, is that my understanding is that I was born with that skill. Whether I was able to do it, immediately upon being born, I wasn't able to play tennis, right? But I had that capacity in me. I was like a born tennis player. Oh, she's a born tennis player. Oh, look, she picks it up so quickly. She must have been born with, that tennis thing. And somebody with a growth mindset believes that skills, that everyone is born with the capacity to do all kinds of different things. And whatever they invest time and energy and effort on, they will develop skills in those areas. So skills come from whatever a person invests continued effort in. That's where skills come from. So the beliefs about challenges and what do challenges mean and how to approach them and how a person feels how they respond to being challenged. When I'm using my growth mindset and I'm thinking about challenges, I'm excited about them because every single challenge is an opportunity. It's like, oh, look, this is cool. What do I get to do here? Oh, I get to do this, or I can do this, or I can do that, or I can do this. So I get excited about challenges because I see them as opportunities. And when I'm using my fixed mindset and I think about challenges, I kind of want to avoid them. I don't want to be challenged. I drag my feet. My face even like crinkles up when I think about challenges. I'm like, oh my God, another opportunity to be embarrassed because I don't know what I'm doing in this area. I'm not very good at this. And every time I try to do this thing, play tennis, for example, let's say, and I'm not good at it, it's just embarrassing to go out there and look like a fool because I'm comparing myself to these other people and they're good at it and I'm lousy at it. And it's so embarrassing to have my performance stacked up against other people's performance. It's just embarrassing. I'd rather just avoid it. There's some things I'm good at, some things I'm not. I'm just going to avoid the things that I'm not good at. I'll just stick to the things that I'm already good at. Now, my beliefs about effort and what does effort mean? Like what's my attitude about effort? When I'm using my fixed mindset, I think effort really is overrated. It's like, hey, I'm already good at this. It takes me very little effort. And that's a good thing So that effort thing and like try again, all of that really is not for people. You know, successful people do not keep investing their time over and over and over trying to just get a little incrementally better. No, that's for losers. But if I'm using my growth mindset and I'm thinking about effort, I'm like, well, of course you have to invest effort because that's the only way that you develop. That's how anyone develops, is by investing effort. So obviously, effort is essential. It's the pathway to success because that's the only way that I can learn. That's the only way that my skills are going to develop, is when I invest effort. So now, what are my beliefs about feedback when I'm using my growth mindset? I'm thinking, oh, great, this is going to be really useful. So let's take a couple of examples of feedback. Like, what is feedback? Feedback, one example of feedback is a grade that you get as a student on something that you turn in. Now, whatever you get for the grade, the feedback is equally valuable. So if a student gets an F or a D, that is as valuable to the student as feedback as getting an A or a B. Now that might sound like kind of wacky when I say that. Well, how could that be as valuable? It is, because it's telling you whether you're on target or not. Here's another example besides a grade on a paper. In basketball, if I'm trying to learn how to shoot a three-point shot, every shot I attempt, I'm getting feedback on it. Immediately, as I shoot it and as I watch what happens to my attempt, I get feedback. I can see what's happening to the ball, and I can use that feedback to adjust what I'm doing. And every single piece of feedback is equally valuable to me to use to make those adjustments. So if my attitude is, oh my God, I missed another one. Oh my God, I missed another one. Oh my God, I missed another one. I'm terrible at this. I'm never going to be able to do that. That's not making use of my feedback. When I really use my feedback to identify what I'm doing, the result that I do want, how do I adjust what I did to get the result that I want? So taking that negative reaction to feedback out and saying, hey, feedback is just giving me useful information so that I know whether I'm on target or not. It's evaluating the thing that I did. It's not evaluating me as a person. So now in the area, what are my beliefs about setbacks? Now, setbacks are inevitable. There is no life, there is no human being on the planet that has ever existed that doesn't encounter setbacks. So what are my beliefs about setbacks when I'm applying my fixed mindset? Oh my God, they rigged this. This is rigged. You know, this is one of those like trick situations where you can't possibly succeed. That's why I did so bad. I'm not going to do this anymore. This is just too discouraging. Those are the kinds of thoughts I have when I'm applying my fixed mindset. And when I apply my growth mindset to my setbacks, I go, all right, now I can prioritize. And now I can use this information. The setbacks are very much like it's another kind of feedback. So I've got really useful information that I can use to adjust my plan to be more successful on my next attempt. So that was just a quick overview of comparing the growth and the fixed mindset. And keep in mind, none of us are all one or all the other. If we were, if I used only fixed mindset, or if I thought, oh, every human being is either a growth mindset person or a fixed mindset person. What mindset am I using to believe that? Right, I'm using a fixed mindset in my beliefs about the mindsets themselves. So keep in mind that we all use these different mindset patterns of thinking at different times of the day in different situations. We can switch from one to another. And in the same sentence, we might have a little bit of growth mindset thinking and a little bit of fixed mindset thinking. In working on just one task, we can mix and match between these two. Our brains are incredibly flexible. So let's harness that flexibility and practice. The more we practice our growth mindset thinking patterns, we are the ones, each one of us individually benefits when we practice the growth mindset thinking patterns rather than the fixed mindset thinking patterns. All right, so here's a little test. Which students are demonstrating, based on their statements, are demonstrating the growth mindset? So we have the student in the blue that says, "Oh, I don't want a low score in this class. Oh my God, what do I do?" And then we have the student in green who says, "I deserve an A in this class. I'm smart. I always get A's." And then we have the student in the orange who says, I wonder what I need to do to be successful in this class." Yes, that's correct. The student in the orange is the one that's demonstrating the growth mindset thinking. Now, don't despair. There's going to be several times in this class that you're going to realize, oh my God, there's some more fixed mindset thinking. Oh my God, there's another fixed mindset thinking. Oh my God, there's another one. And it sometimes is tempting to go, I apparently am just stuck in the fixed mindset thinking and I can't get out of it. You can. It's not an all or nothing. Write down the growth mindset statements, put them post-it notes around your house, put them on your computer, put them on your dashboard, put them in your books, put them on your desk, put them wherever you want to encourage you to practice the growth mindset thinking. Now, I want to weave what I've just covered as an overview with the growth mindset. I want to weave that in with the ideas that where you are analyzing your own personal biases in every single assignment for this class. So I want to weave that in. So we're going to smoothly move over into talking about how this mindset goes along with the biases. So here we're working on our growth mindset. So we've got the student in orange here thinking, I wonder what I need to do to be successful in this class. And the glasses are like the biases. So overall, the student in orange is using growth mindset thinking and puts the glasses on in order to tackle or focus in, right? Focus in, zero in on a particular assignment or even just one part of a particular assignment. And it's that zeroing in and that focusing in that often we do that. It's our glasses, our lenses themselves. I'm using that as a metaphor, right? That it's our lenses that we put on the information and how we interpret it. That's where we introduce our biases. So we're going to go over just a few of them here. All right. So the hindsight bias. So this is what an example of the hindsight bias that a student might be experiencing. Hey, I read those exemplars for this class. Wow. I read that culminating paper one. That was really helpful. that student really could have seen all that stuff coming. I don't know why they didn't, but I'm not going to make those mistakes because I read that. I read that student's paper on their culminating paper, which covered everything they did. I'm not going to make those mistakes. The halo effect. Now, this is, I'm going to describe me as your instructor using this bias. Now, if student A had a terrific baseline paper, and then I'm reading assignment 2, and even though the student, really completely missed the boat on assignment 2, I think a high score is warranted for that student because, hey, I remember they did a great job on the baseline assessment. I would be applying the halo effect. That would be a bias. All right, the false consensus bias. I think that analyzing my biases, it's really easy. It must be easy for everybody. They really shouldn't need all of this. Doesn't everybody know how to? Yeah, everybody knows how to do this. That's the false consensus bias. And it's really closely related to the egocentric bias. The best way to do things is always the way whoever's in charge, like whoever the team leader is, just do it the way they want it done because, after all, they got put in charge for a reason, so they must have the best ideas about how to do things, right? That's an example of the egocentric bias. And all of these biases can come up at all different times for us. They come up for me. They come up for you. Everyone has these. The word bias itself is not, this is not something to be ashamed of, embarrassed by. These are not something that say you are a terrible person because you have biases. Nope, we all have them. And the objective here is to get better at identifying them so that we can put structures in place to help us counter them. All right, what's our next one? The hot hand fallacy. A student might be thinking, I just breezed through my first several ASU online courses. They were so easy for me. This course is going to be easy for me too. That's the hot hand fallacy. Thinking whatever the success the person had in the past projects and predicts that they're going to have success in the future. And that's not necessarily the case. In the hot hand fallacy, somebody can have that about themselves or about somebody else. Are you starting to see how these are all interrelated? Here's another one. Blind spot. That project manager for the Titanic case? Wow, he had a lot of biases. I'm glad I don't have any. So the student who kind of has that sort of thinking when they're working on that particular assignment or really any of the case study assignments, they have a blind spot about their own biases. Other people are biased. I'm not. All right, our next one is illusion of transparency. All of these ideas about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset, this stuff's so obvious. I don't have to explain this or give examples, right? Right? That's the illusion of transparency. The confirmation bias. See this one example here? I told you that I was right. See, it's exactly, see this example? It's exactly what I was telling you just the other day. Oh, there's other examples that don't support my idea? Well, never mind about those. Those people don't know what they're talking about. No, don't, just put those aside. See this one? See this? That's what I was telling you about. See, I was right. So confirmation bias is kind of like having the blind spot about the data that we're using and analyzing, where we're only focusing on the data that already confirms what we already believe. And we're not even considering as valid all the rest of the data that's available. Anchoring bias. Well, that's how I did the first assignment, and that worked. I got a good grade. I should be able to just keep doing that same thing over and over and over. So the anchoring bias is using the initial experience, whatever that was like, using that to judge all the subsequent experiences. The availability bias. Oh, I just saw this really cool. I just saw an example of that online. That must be related. Oh, it was one of those. Oh, look, I'll reference that in my paper. So whatever is immediately at hand, whatever is close at hand, whatever was something that just came up, oh, we see an immediate connection to it. This idea of this availability bias, it's the same kind of mental mechanism that happens where if you buy a new car or if you get a new phone, all of a sudden you notice, oh my God, everybody has the same car or has that same phone or whatever the object is. Your attention is zeroed in on that object and you suddenly notice a lot more of it. That's a very similar kind of mental process going on that happens with the availability bias. All right, the fundamental attribution error. I can't believe that professor graded these papers so harshly. Oh my God, what is her problem? She must not be a very good teacher. She graded these so rigidly. Like, what is her problem? So the fundamental attribution error is where you attribute the reasons that your performance wasn't up to par, that's somebody else's fault. It has nothing to do with you, and you're not really analyzing the situation objectively, and you're attributing your the gap in your performance on somebody else, on some external factors. And then you're attributing for the other person, you're doing a completely different kind of attribution for the other person in the scenario. So you think for yourself, it's not my fault, I didn't do it. But for the other person, it's because of some kind of moral failing on her part. It's because that teacher is a not very good teacher. That's why they graded so harshly. So the fundamental attribution error is kind of like this crisscross of errors where you're using non-objective rationale in two ways that are interrelated. The belief bias. Oh, that's a good idea. I like that plan because it means less work for me. Yeah, I already did something like that. This will be really easy for me. That's a great plan. Yes, I think that's really sound logic. Oh, yes, that's very well thought out. I think that's very sound rationale that was used to come to that conclusion. So this is where it's kind of like backtracking and saying, just because I like or I prefer for some personal reasons the actual outcome, I'm concluding that the logic that was used is really highly valuable logic that was used, when really I haven't analyzed that at all. I'm judging it solely on the fact that I like that particular plan because it means less work for me. All right, and our last one on the sheet is the planning fallacy. And that one is we all commit this particular fallacy at least monthly, if not weekly, if not daily, where we drastically underestimate the amount of time that it's going to take us to complete something. That's the planning fallacy. So anybody who thinks, oh my gosh, this is going to be a snap, I'm going to get this done really quickly. And then 6 hours later, we're still on step one and we're like, oh my God, what have I done? So all of these biases are detailed in the article that you are assigned to read for your baseline assessment by Halverson and Rock. And there's more. There's a few more that are in the article, and you'll go over them. But I just wanted to go over some of these and weave them in. Did you see how they were related? That the underlying thinking in some of these is closely tied with the growth mindset or the fixed mindset, right? A lot of these have a piece of the fixed mindset involved in them. Like you could see that with the fundamental attribution error. That one had a lot of at the base of it, it had a lot of fixed mindset kind of thinking in it. And so did the hot hand fallacy. Several of these have that fixed mindset kind of thinking that create these biases. So if we think of the mindset as kind of like the baseline source, and then the individual biases are like the actual statements or thoughts that come to our mind as we're working on whatever the task at hand is. So the mindset and the biases are intricately connected in how those come about. So examining our own performance or our own enactment of these different biases is really helpful, because through identifying the biases that we're practicing, we can go, oh, okay, now what do I need to put in place to balance that out? If I tend to do this kind of a thing, how can I balance that out? We'll talk a little bit more about that idea of balancing it out through structures that we put in place in the next video. Thank you.